Welcome back, Year 9. We are continuing on with our design process task, and you should be looking at your third week of lessons for this particular graded task. So we're on online learning week starting the 7th of the 9th. Again, we have our literacy strategy reminders up here in this link here. If you need to look at those, feel free. So today we're going to be looking at a little bit more detail, and we're actually going to be reading a design brief, and we're going to actually start designing and thinking about the product that we're going to make in class in fourth term. So the learning intention for today is to gain an understanding of how to follow the design brief, and the success criteria is I can design a product that meets the design brief. So here we have a design brief written out. This is a scenario. This is a hypothetical type of story that puts the design brief into context, okay? So your school canteen is running a competition for Year 9 students to design a homemade pizza inspired by the foods and cultures from all over the world. The winning design will be produced at school and sold at the canteen as a new menu item. You need to be able to produce the pizza in a relatively short amount of time with only the equipment that is available to you in the school's kitchens. The pizza needs to be designed so that it appeals to a wide range of students with ages ranging from 10 to 18 years old. The school has also asked that the pizza offer the students a healthier option to store-bought pizza with less additives and preservatives. Your pizza needs to include a maximum of 2 meats, 3 vegetables, and a maximum of 2 sauces and 1 type of cheese. Of course, if you are a vegetarian or have any other dietary requirements, then design a pizza that meets this requirement. Please indicate if halal products are required. So first and foremost, what you're going to do is you're going to identify what are the constraints and the considerations in this design brief. So you may need to go back through and reread that. You might need to use your highlighter, okay, and literally highlight the bits and pieces of this design brief that come under constraint and then that it come under consideration. So one way I would do it is I would go, okay, a constraint. We know that a constraint is a rule that must be followed. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this red. I must do that. Okay, and then a consideration is an option of something that I need to consider. So I might make this one green. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm now going to look through this design brief and reread it sentence after sentence very slowly, and I'm going to highlight in the corresponding color the constraints and the considerations. So the school canteen is running a competition for Year 9 students to design a homemade pizza. So first of all, the product is going to be a homemade pizza. Is this a constraint or a consideration? I'm really hoping that you guessed constraint. Okay, so I would highlight red. Inspired by the foods and cultures from all over the world. So does it tell me that I have to have it from a particular culture? No, it's influenced by cultures from all over the world. So cultures, I would consider that to be a consideration. Okay, and you could even highlight foods. Okay, so now you're going to continue on with this, okay, and you're going to methodically go through the design brief and you're going to highlight the corresponding rules and options, okay, constraints and considerations in the design brief, okay, so that you understand what you need to think about and what you must comply with, all right? So we're going to move down a little bit further. So once you've done that, then you're going to list all the constraints under here, and then you're going to put all the considerations in here, okay? So it says here, from the above design brief, highlight both the constraints and the considerations that you need to follow to complete the homemade pizza. Highlighting them both in different colors makes it easier to follow, which is very true. So then I want you to place all those in the appropriate columns. Then what we're going to do is you're going to move into the investigating stage. Okay, so investigating is one of the steps in the design process, and it's the first step. So this is where we do our research. You're going to research some different countries to help you determine what you think should go onto your pizza. Complete the following ideas table to help you with your design. So what you're going to do is you're going to come up with, this is not a design option. This is research for you to draw information from later. Okay, so this is going to be where you collect all the valuable information. So what are some of the meats that can go onto a pizza? So you're going to fill them in here. What are some of the vegetable options that can go into a pizza? You're going to put in here. What sauces could you use on a pizza, and what are the cheese options that you could use on a pizza? I would expect this to be completely filled in. There should be no gaps here, okay? Maybe sauces. There might be only a few that you can think of, but everything else should definitely be filled in, okay? So let's move on down the page. So the next thing you're going to do is, this is where you need to be really mindful and understand the difference between the table that you've just done and the table that's now before you. The following is a list of ingredients that will be made available for you for this production. You are to use this list of ingredients to design 3 different pizzas that could be used to meet the specifications of the design brief. So you have access to shredded ham, salami pepperoni, barbecue chicken, minced beef, and bacon. You have access to from the vegetables list, tomatoes, capsicum, both red and green, onion, mushroom, zucchini, spinach, pumpkin, and sun-dried tomatoes. Okay? You have access to the following sauces and herbs: tomato sauce, barbecue sauce, pesto, garlic, mixed herbs, parsley, basil, and olives. And then the cheeses that you have available are tasty cheese, mozzarella, feta. And then one of the fruit toppings we have here, apart from tomato, which I've listed under vegetable, is pineapple. Okay, so from this list here, you are now to come up with 3 different design options, making sure you follow the rules, which are the constraints of the design brief. So design option 1, you have a spot here to put 2 meats in here. Vegetables, you have 4 spots here. Sauces, at least 2. Herbs, at least 3. And then cheese is 1 option, okay? So, and then you have design option 2. And then moving down the page, you come to design option 3. What you need to do now is, once you've done the 3 of those, is you need to pick one of these designs. So design option 1, 2, or 3, and you need to pick which one you want to cook in term 4. So you then need to say, I will be making design option, and then put the number 1, 2, or 3. Once you have identified which of the design options you are going to make, you then need to justify why you have chosen that product over the other 2. Now, a justification is another fancy word for explanation. You need to explain why you have chosen that design option over the other 2. And you should link this back to the design brief. All your design options are going to meet the specifications of the design brief. However, when you are justifying your choice, you need to be explicit in your explanation. So you could say something along the lines of, I'm choosing design option 3 because I believe it has a well-balanced flavour combination, and that it will appeal to a large range of students, etc., etc. So you would have to then pick out one of those things that are from the design brief, and then link that back into your justification or your explanation. Then you're going to finish up there. If you think that you can power ahead and you want to do some evaluation criteria, then at least read through this. you could have a go without any detailed explanation, but I would stay tuned for next week for the information and instruction on how to do evaluation criteria. So until next week, it's bye for now.